Electronic Arts, known as EA, is a digital entertainment company that is most known for their video games, such as the Fifa and Madden games, Titanfall and Apex Legends, the Sims franchise, and countless others. I'm sure most of you clicking on this already knew that, but hear me out. EA's strategy to remain competitive includes 3 pillars: player first, commitment to digital, and One EA. This video is going to be my opinion, allegedly don't sue me, I'm poor, on why I believe EA is only focusing on one of those 3 pillars.
You don't scare me, but you should feel me. The sun is setting, don't trust your hearing.
In 2013, EA was taken over by a new CEO, an EA Sports veteran from Australia, Andrew Wilson. Wilson had previously been the executive vice president of EA Sports and Origin, and had worked for the company for over 15 years, so he was pretty familiar with the company, and was very happy, I'm sure, to take the $800,000 salary at the time.
Hip hip!
Boo! You stink!
Before Wilson officially took over as CEO, he stated that his plan for the company after taking over was supposed to be to keep the players in mind in a number of ways. In all honesty, as I came into the role, there was a sense in the marketplace that maybe we weren't doing all we could for the player, Wilson said. And my objective number 1 was to really reinstill a player-first mentality, a player-first culture inside the organization.
Ha! Got him!
He said he would do this by releasing games earlier for public viewing, and by also releasing public betas of games to be tried earlier as well. And sure, that sounds great on paper, but if that comes at the expense of not having the games ready for launch by the set deadlines, is it even really putting the player first? He also said that they would not release any games until they're great, which is absolutely laughable here 8 years later with the state of most games from EA.
No, but it's not funny. At the end of the day, is it? It's serious.
In September 2013, when he officially became CEO of Electronic Arts, he released a statement saying, "Let me start by saying I am deeply honored and humbled to become EA's CEO. I have a profound respect and passion for this organization, as well as for our global community of fans, and I'm incredibly motivated to serve our people, our gamers, and our shareholders at such an exciting time in our industry." Interesting that he would mention the shareholders as a rich white man. That must be important for him to mention it in the very first sentence of his statement. Maybe that's because Andrew Wilson himself is also a stockholder. According to Wallmine.com, he has made over 100 trades of EA stock since 2012, the largest of which made him $6,562,500.
Hip hip!
Boo! You stink!
Later on, as he's wrapping up his statement, and keep in mind these are his very first words officially as CEO, he says, "Looking ahead, my focus will be on 3 things: continued transformation for our digital future, delivering amazing games and services across platforms, and instilling a culture of execution that will drive profitable growth." Where in that focus do the players come in? It honestly seems as though Mr. Andrew Wilson forgot that part, didn't he? So, is it player first, or is it shareholder first? Seems like the answer to that one is pretty obvious. Another one of EA's core strategies is working as one EA, or everyone operating as one team. In my mind, that would mean that any game developer, brand, or person associated with EA would work together to provide the best for the community as a whole, right? Well, recently in late February 2022, Mr. Andrew Wilson himself had some interesting things to say about EA's relationship with FIFA. In an anonymous tip provided to VGC from a staff member at EA, Wilson said to staff in an internal meeting that FIFA as a brand was holding them back creatively, and that they were nothing more than 4 letters on a box. Apparently, EA was wanting to implement some changes to the game that would be beyond the standard 11 versus 11 mode, and FIFA was not here for it. That definitely feels like a bit of a rift in the one EA operation, especially when you consider Wilson's history as the former vice president of EA Sports. Electronic Arts has worked with so many different people, from game developers to players that they have made into their EA Creator Network, that it's impossible for there not to be some butting of heads every once in a while. I'm sure the deadlines they set sometimes make it difficult to get the games up and ready in time, which is why the end products that they give consumers aren't always the quality they should be. For example, the tragedy that was the most recent Sims 4 game pack, My Wedding Stories.
If you're looking for any meaningful, deep gameplay, I would maybe give this one a pass.
As it stands, I don't think I can recommend that you buy this pack. Keeping in mind that if you buy this pack, it will override the old wedding system. You will no longer be able to have base game weddings the old way. Do not buy this pack. Not yet. At least it doesn't work. It's broken.
Now, I personally did not and will not be buying this pack, but that's not the point of this video. I am an avid Sims player though, and have been for years, so I'm very familiar with the fact that these games have been a cash grab since before the Sims 3 store. But anyway, this recent game pack was not ready to be released to the public. I would even go as far as to say it probably shouldn't have been released, period. During the beta release, the game changers that had early access all had issues, every single one of them. The game pack simply did not work the way it was supposed to, and even broke the game for some players who bought it, since it had overridden the base game wedding function. All of them had feedback to the Sims team to please fix these issues before the public release, and yet the pack was released anyway, very, very broken. How exactly is this listening to your players, and how is it working as one team when these guys were telling you straight up that there was an issue with the pack and you guys still released it? What's the point in the EA Creator Network if you don't listen to the feedback they give you? I don't get it.
Nah, it's not funny. Nah, I'm not laughing.
Speaking of not listening to feedback, fans of multiple EA games have complained endlessly about the quality of games coming out from the publisher. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is basically unplayable because of a bug or likely a hack that makes everyone in the lobby unkillable, making the game essentially pointless to play. Another unplayable game or games from EA are Titanfall 1 and 2, the precursors to Apex Legends, where the game servers were again overrun by hackers and the developers failed to do anything about it. The Sims 4 is currently having a very troubling issue where the game will not save, displaying an error code message instead, and players have even experienced corruption of their save files. In every one of these cases, EA was told about the issue by multiple people, and they put them on the back burner. These are games that people still want to play because, they spent their money on them, yet because they're older games, EA doesn't want to spend the resources to fix these problems for the players. Yeah, way to put the players first though. EA, being a digital entertainment company, needs to make sure they stay up to date with new and upcoming technology in order to stay relevant. One of the biggest technological advancements people are talking about right now is the Metaverse. For anyone who somehow hasn't heard about this yet, the Metaverse is a virtual reality space in which users can interact with a computer-generated environment and other users. This would open up a million possibilities for the gaming industry as VR games would possibly become more popular. Recently, EA tweeted a link where the senior producer to Apex Legends hosted a panel talking about digital spaces and how augmented reality could increase empathy in the real world. I'm not sure if anyone watched this, but I saw it a bit late. It sounds to me, though, that they are possibly wanting to start incorporating augmented reality into their games, or creating a digital space for this to happen, at least. Now, this sounds exciting, right? Maybe a Sims Metaverse or some cool virtual reality sports games, esports tournaments in a digital arena. So many possibilities. Except, it's EA, guys. I've been keeping my eye out for any sign of this and saw this tweet talking about AI in future games. But in typical EA fashion, the link doesn't work. Like, no one in that company knows how to double check that things work, apparently.
Screw it. No, it's time for Dude.
We're still working on him.
I worked on him myself. He's perfect. Drop in Dude now.
Just do it. He's got like half a brain. He's barely written, but sure. Start the upload.
How exactly do you expect to keep this commitment to digital when you can't even commit to fixing the already broken content you've been releasing with today's less than modern tech? Maybe put your focus on one thing at a time, guys. Or at the very least, don't make promises you can't keep. So the answer to my shameless clickbait title, is no. EA is most likely not quitting the gaming industry, and as for a rebrand, anything can happen, I guess. But I do think that they aren't putting their focus into their games the way that they should be. EA really needs to stop ignoring the community when we're asking them to treat us fairly as consumers of their products and games. They should not be putting out broken content for us to pay for with our hard-earned money that ultimately is unplayable. If this was one game out of many, it would be one thing, but there are so many comments under any given EA tweet to fix their games from almost every major game they have out. They are not listening to their player-first mentality that they as a company have said they would do. As for their commitment to digital, I guess we'll have to see what they have up their sleeve for us, and hope that it's something better than what we have now in all aspects. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, it really does seem to be like it's all about money with this company. That's all I really have to say about this. Let me know if this kind of video is something you guys would be interested in. I know it's very different from what I've been doing so far. Also, I want to thank you guys for 100 subscribers. I know it's not much to some, but for me it means so much to me that anyone would listen to what I have to say, let alone subscribe. But with that being said, like and subscribe if you want more videos like this, and follow me on Twitter if you want. As always, links are in the description for sources I used for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching.